Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and this is actually very late March 2025. We're in Phoenix, Arizona, and for what it's worth, I am thrilled on this particular day to be in Phoenix. We visited Arizona back in, I want to say, '04, and then we went again around '07 with another couple friends of ours from college, and we have been trying to get back to Arizona several times since then, and it's just been the trip that kept getting put on the back burner. And I'm not real happy about that. I'm not happy that this was only my third time in Arizona. This is one of my favorite states. More on that later. And if you've watched some of my other videos, I'm going to put up a whole bunch of videos from this particular trip. But I thought I would kind of start out with what we did first when we got to Arizona. And just for what it's worth, this is probably a 10-minute video, mostly of us driving out. So if you don't want to watch the road go by as we're driving around and listen to me talk, I won't be offended. You can watch another video. It's okay. But yeah, this is pretty much us driving out of Phoenix once we got to Arizona. We flew in and had pretty decent flights. I will say our flights on the way back were a bit complicated. Thanks, American. But I might talk more about that later. But we were just thrilled to be in Arizona. We got off the plane. We rented our car. That went really well. And we went to the ballpark. We went to where the Arizona Diamondbacks play baseball. And we parked, and we went and we took a ballpark tour. And that was a lot of fun. I mostly took pictures there, though. I'll probably still put up a little video about that, though. It was a good time. And I think it was maybe the 14th Major League ballpark we have visited. And that was great. Get to check that off the checklist. I don't go to Major League ball games like I used to, because, man, have they gotten complicated over the last few years with the bag checks and all that stuff. Just not what it used to be. But I still love baseball, and I love going to visit a ballpark. But as far as the Major League parks go, I'd rather do a ballpark tour than to go there and watch a game. Most of the time. I go back and forth on that, though. But we stopped by, did a ballpark tour. It was great. Had a lot of fun. The Diamondbacks were a very nice organization. They gave everybody doing the tour a pin. And one of my young friend that was with us, Spencer, they gave him like a really nice yearbook about the team, and I thought that was classy. Gave out a few of those to the kids. And we did get there right before a game was about to start, and we kind of head nodded at the players. We were kind of close to them a couple times. It was some pretty cool access, so that was nice. So Phoenix, here we are in Phoenix. We're driving out of town, like I said, and even on this brief video, you'll notice how the scenery changes. And we would start out in Phoenix. The temperature was in the 80s. We would drive to Flagstaff, just a couple hours down the road, really, and it was in the 50s when we got there. In fact, most of this trip in Sedona, Flagstaff, at the Grand Canyon, we saw snow. In fact, we saw a lot of snow, and we were even driving in pretty close to whiteout conditions a time or two. And I'm sure some of my other videos will show that. But, it was not the sunny Arizona trip we were hoping for, but it was definitely a different trip, and we enjoyed every minute of it. The first time we were in Phoenix, we stayed at the Squaw Peak Hilton Resort. I think it's now the Hilton Resort at the Peak. I think that's the name of it now. I think they went through a name change, and it was spectacular. I would love to stay there again at some point. We didn't even have time to go there on this visit. We didn't do a whole lot in Phoenix. other than go to the ballpark. And then we spent a night in Phoenix before we flew out of town or flew out of the state. And that was a lot of fun. I'm sure I've told this story before. I'm sure I'll tell it again. Back in '04, we were living in Cleveland, Ohio. And every time we had vacation time, we would mostly drive down to Western Kentucky and spend time with my family. And we weren't the road trippers we are now, but my wife's work actually paid for her to do a training in Phoenix. And they pretty much told her, like, hey, take your husband with you. Treat this as a little bit of a reward for doing a good job. Do your training, but make sure you go out and have fun and stuff. So I piggybacked onto her work trip, and my mind was absolutely blown. Not only by Arizona, but just the whole traveling thing. That was the moment that we really caught the traveling bug. I always kind of wrote off Arizona as just a big desert. And, we spent pretty much a week in Phoenix, and then we spent a couple days. We went up to the Grand Canyon, we went to Sedona, and if you've seen those landscapes, and I'm sure you probably have, you know how incredible they are. And driving through Arizona has a very otherworldly feel to it. Especially, if you're driving at night, the skies are clear. I saw a shooting star that first trip into Arizona, and it's just, there's something mysterious and beautiful about this state. Easily one of my top 5 favorite states. And I just can't get enough of it. I mentioned that we've kind of put the trip on the back burner a few times. I know we were going to do Arizona again. Geez. We're probably around 2012, 2013. Then we got an opportunity to go to Vancouver Island, so we kind of pushed it off again. And then we were going to try to do Arizona. Some friends moved to Hawaii, so we made Hawaii our next big trip. And then with the cruises we've taken, some opportunities came up, and we just kept putting Arizona. We'll do Arizona again later. We'll do Arizona again later. And I don't like that. And then COVID, of course, ruined everything too. But we were thrilled to get back here on this trip. Did a lot of stuff. We technically went to 7 national parks / national monuments. We went to Meteor Crater again. We spent some time in Sedona. Not enough time in Sedona. In fact, not enough time in Arizona in general. Arizona to me is definitely one of those states that if you like to travel and see things that are incredible, you've got to come back over and over and over again. It's you can't say you've done Arizona if you've only been in Arizona for a week or 2 weeks. There's just too much history, too much to see. And I'm looking forward to getting back again as soon as we can. Anyway, just thought I would put this video up real quick as we drive out of Phoenix. And I'll be putting some more videos up. Some of them will be us just driving around. And then some of us will be, some tours we took. And maybe a few coffee shops we stopped at, that kind of thing. If you have any thoughts on Phoenix or road tripping and visiting this area, let me know. It is truly unique and special.